Welcome to the Jehovih Chronicles with your host, Cosmon Cal.
That's right. Right back like I left some Miss Hostess with the most. Just holding that fire like a roach clip. Your noggin, your nerve, fresh up off of that curve, jelly jam and preserve, man. Hey, Cosmoni and the cloud kicker right back up in it, man. All praise to the ever-present creator, love, life, balance out there to the gang, the gods, and the Nirvanian goddesses. A lot of people didn't know gang was an acronym. I ain't got long, so we just gonna get to cooking. But I gotta drop this new Think Not by the SNR. Shout out to Browns, yo.
For each and every corporeal world, created our vortex first, and by its rotation and by the places in the firmament whither it traveleth, caused are the vortex to conceive the corporeal world. A great vortex created I for the sun, and within this vortex and subject to it, made I the vortices of many of the corporeal worlds. Think not. Oh, think not. Think not. Oh, man, that I created the sky, a barren waste, think not, and void of you. Even as man in the corporeal form is adapted to the corporeal earth, so is he in the spiritual form adapted to my ethereal worlds. Three great estates have I bestowed on man: the corporeal, the atmosphere, and the ethereal. Things that man see, created I with a beginning and an end. But the unseen I made of endless duration. The corporeal man made I belong into the scene, but the spiritual man made I as one within the unseen and everlasting. As the corporeal man beholdeth corporeal things, so doth the spiritual man follow upward the evaporated corporeal entities of things. As corporeal things are tangible to corporeal world.
Now I ain't got long, so I'm going to try to make this as short as possible and just bring out some of these benefits found in Oahspe compared to what we actually find in the Bible. If y'all haven't been, if y'all ain't hip, your boy Cosmon just had a debate with another Israelite, another Easy W. As always, they try to argue from a point of ignorance or, having a debate about a topic they haven't looked into, researched, or read, and yet you're on stage trying to debate it. You know what I mean? For that, most, sad point is, we probably whipped on about 25, 30 different Hebrews, and they all seem to make the same mistake over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? That spiritual stagnation seems to be a thing throughout Christianity and the so-called Judaism. You dig what I'm saying? With that being said, quickly, my sister Tikva, I seen the message, the thing on AI. Yeah. I just got to find some time, and I think I need to show that your AI build on my sister. See, my sister Tikva did an AI build. You dig what I'm talking about? And that's another thing over here. We don't try to pigeonhole our sisters or tell them to stand behind us, or you can only learn when we learn, and we ain't trying to put baby in the corner. You dig what I'm saying? So I think a lot of the sisters, when they do catch on and they come over here, it's like a breath of fresh air, because ain't nobody standing over you trying to, well, you can't, and you bet not, and God is the head of the church, and the church is the head of Jeebus, and Jeebus is the head of that man. You dig what I'm talking about? And you just last in line. That ain't how it works. So I just want to let you know, sis, I seen your work. I seen it. I want to get into it too, because we could bring that back and even more concisely ask them questions that you was asking to the AI, and just pinpoint it, because you gave a 2,400 number for the people who survived. It's actually 12,420. So I would like to see the difference in between that, because if it gave us the outcome that it did with the 2,400 number of survivors, and said that Oahspe is more logical than Bible when it comes to the survivors of the Great Flood, and that 8 people genetically produce a genetic bottleneck that couldn't produce 8 billion today. But they said not only could it be done with 2,400, which was the number the sis put in there, but I'm just of the mind that if 2,400 can get it done, what will 12,400 or 10,000 more people, right? How would the AI spit out them numbers? You dig what I'm talking about? I think it'll be a grand slam. And even though Oahspe still outweighed it, you dig what I'm talking about, with skewed numbers. But without further ado, let's just get into this real quick. Let me blow this. Let me try to see if I can blow this up just a tad. I'll drop down here. Okay, y'all. All praise to the ever-present Creator. Love, light, balance out there, y'all. You dig what I'm talking about? Gang in this thing, y'all. You bring them, we raise them. Huh? The Holy Bible versus Oahspe, which one is more beneficial for our people? I wanted to go back through this just to kind of slow it down and actually show the myriad of benefits that's actually put forth in Oahspe, right? My opponent, he didn't even show 2. You had 3 15-minute round debates, 3 15-minute rounds, and a question and answer. He never gave us no benefits. He didn't show us one out the Bible. Not one. I went back and I watched it again because I thought, I may be being a little biased. Oh, Cosmo, you do that. You know what I mean? He showed us something. Actually, I'm not capping on this, man. He didn't show any. Never showed not one benefit. But, you know what I mean? That's not my fault. Well, let's get into it real quick. Right? Now, I want everybody to notice a crucial detail. That debate, and this debate is not about which book is true. It's about which one produces better outcomes for our people. So before we read a single verse, we need to define our standard. What is a benefit? A benefit is something that produces good or helpful results or effects that promote well-being or an advantage. What is the opposite of advantage? That's a disadvantage. A disadvantage is a quality or circumstance that makes achievement unusually difficult. So tonight, we are measuring outcomes. If a teaching produces growth, harmony, clarity, and empowerment, then it is beneficial for our people. But if it produces fear, dependency, confusion, submission, and division, then it is not beneficial for our people. Check. That's simple. If one produces growth, harmony, clarity, and empowerment, that's good. That's light. That's thumbs up. But if one produces fear, dependency, confusion, submission, and division, that's bad. That's thumb down. That's dog. Choose for yourself which one is beneficial for our people, fear or growth, harmony or dependency. The Bible produces dependency. Oahspe produces growth and harmony. Which one is more beneficial? See, one of the most beneficial principles of Oahspe is that it encourages independent judgment, not blind acceptance, and not submission to books, not submission to doctrines, or submission to gods. It encourages not to submit to books, doctrines, gods without examination, because that is the very definition of indoctrination. What is indoctrination? Indoctrination is the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. That means without questioning it. Now, let's listen to Oahspe. Oahspe, Book of Inspiration. 9:5 says, you shall be your own judge in all things. This blows their mind. They can't get, well, how are we judging? God is supposed to judge, and then your book says you can also judge the creator, and oh my God. Be above a lot of people pay grade. Because you worried about somebody else judging you, but you not worrying about you judging you. Why? Creator says, you shall be your own judge in all things. Behold, I sent my God to judge you, but you shall also judge the judgments of your God. And afterwards, you shall judge yourself in the same way. I created you a perpetual judge, not only to judge yourself and all the worlds besides, but you shall judge me, your creator, too. I ain't ducking no smoke. If you gonna judge you and you gonna judge God, and I know I'm right, I invented information. I am the power that they looking for. why wouldn't I let you judge me too? If I know that I'm right, know my ideals and understandings and dictates and laws and commandments, all that, if I know that it's absolutely right because I am a omnipotent, all-knowing God, right? Creator, right? I would know I didn't do nothing wrong. Huh? Why wouldn't I let my creation judge me also? You got to be a bad man to do that. Huh? You got to know you was a bad man them the whole time. Because if man can pick you apart, well then guess what you ain't? You ain't the creator. I created you a perpetual judge, not only to judge yourself and all the worlds besides, but you shall judge me, your creator. I've given you many sacred books. Let me make sure everybody can hear this. Hit me with a vortex if y'all can hear it. Make sure my mic is sounding okay, y'all, because it did a little something. Just hit me with a vortex in the chat. Let me know y'all can hear. All right, let me get back to this. I created you a perpetual judge, not only to judge yourself and all the world besides, but you shall judge me, your creator. I have given you many sacred books, and I said to you, unless you judge them, you shall be caught in a snare. I charge you, you shall accept nothing. A little bit, nothing. A smidgen, nothing. Half, nothing. 3/3, nothing. You shall accept nothing from men, angels, or gods. Now, in contrast, the Bible says, and Torah says in the King James Version, book of Deuteronomy 10 and 12, it says, and now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But fear. Huh? What do your Lord require in Bible? But to fear the Lord thy God. Does it sound like fear-based doctrine to you? Huh? See, Oahspe invites examination. Deuteronomy imposes fear as a requirement. One says, judge even me. The other says, fear me. Now, here's the question. For people who have historically been controlled, oppressed, miseducated, mislabeled, and genocided, which foundation produces stronger minds? The judge me or the fear me? Which foundation produces stronger minds? Fear or freedom? And this is why Oahspe say book of inspiration, book of Thor 225. I said to man, be free. Learn to know liberty. Think for yourself and study your creator in all things and in yourself in particular. Why? Because he who has learned to know the creator and serve him fears nothing on earth or in heaven. And fear is nothing but the manifestation of weakness. If fear is the requirement in one system and fearlessness is the result of the other, which one produces empowerment for our people today, in fact? And see, this is why Oahspe presents itself as a practical guide to the spiritual life. But what is Oahspe? Oahspe is a practical guidebook to the spiritual life. And we have the benefit, listen, of having the only practical spiritual guidebook in the world. Show me another one. It ain't the Avestas. It ain't the Vedas. It ain't the Upanishads. Huh? It ain't the I Ching. It ain't the Hadith or Quran. It ain't Torah. Hmm? Hmm? Oh, my bad. Damn. Right? We have the only practical, right? Remember, we talking about benefits, right? We have the only practical spiritual guidebook in the world, right? It's only one. Torah is not one. All the Taoism, Confucianism, Brahmana, Buddhism, none of it is practical, nor are they spiritual guidebooks. They tell you what happened in the spirit, or assume to tell you the tales of what happens in the spirit, but it's not a practical guidebook. So what does it mean to be practical, right? Practical describes things, actions, or people focused on the real world application, utility, and experience rather than just theory or imagination. Practical mean I can apply it today, right now. It makes sense. I ain't got to go through all none of no extra to make it apply in the real world today. Right? So we got that only practical spiritual guidebook in the world. That's a benefit. Right? Now, which is another benefit of Oahspe, right? Because Oahspe is based on the objective, observable world, not on myths and allegorical stories stolen from other people's cultures. And see, that's a negative for the Bible because it admittedly admits that it's allegorical. But let's look at this cover. Oahspe says it is a practical guidebook to the spiritual life. Says Oahspe, a primary for the spiritual and practical enlightenment and development of individuals, groups, humanity, and for their glory and happiness, and for the glory of the whole. In the words of the Creator and his angel ambassadors, being a Cosmon Bible, containing the history of the dominions of the higher and lower heavens on earth for the past 25,000 years. Being from the submersion of the continental pan in the Pacific that you didn't know happened, commonly called the flood and the deluge, to the Cosmon era in the present time. Also a brief history of the preceding years from man's beginning on earth to the flood, right? Your God doesn't explain that. Man thinks that, and then man in his stupidity, right, thinks that he can take the ages of Adam and all these men and add it together, and then that'll tell you when the flood happened. How duped have we really been? That you think you could take the age of Adam, the age of this person and that person, and add all the ages up to the men in the book, and that gives you the date of the book. How silly. But that is the biblical timeline. Right? That ain't no benefit if you can't put nothing on your historically on a timeline. See, we haven't even got past the cover and we already find the benefits. Benefit number one is Oahspe is a primary source for the information it details. Those are facts. Anybody try to tell you they're not, they're just ignorant, stuck in a pit of cognitive dissonance, and love being dumb because they just won't read it. Right? They like being stupid. Right? I like keeping you stupid while we debating. So it works for me. You dig what I'm talking about? I'll keep you right in that dumb spot. Right? So you don't gotta believe that Oahspe is a primary, huh? But the information within its text proves it's a primary. That's a benefit. Bible ain't no primary for the information it contains, right? It got stuff tucking straight from the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Atrahasis, the lost books of Anki, huh? It's so many prior tales that are encompassed and reworked in Bible. It couldn't be a primary. And then to prove it was primary, you would have to have 2 tablets of stone written by the hands of God. Guess what you don't got? Or what about the benefit of knowing what happened in the lower and higher heavens for the past 25,000 years? Or what about the benefit of having the original text written in modern English, huh? The language we actually speak. See, it is a disadvantage if your so-called spiritual text is written in a language that is not your own mother tongue. That's 2 negatives for the Bible. I showed more negatives for the Bible than he showed positives. Huh? I showed more negative and lack of benefit in the Bible than he actually went into the Bible and showed us positive benefits. It's a disadvantage if you got to learn Hebrew. It's a disadvantage if you got to learn Koine Greek. Huh? It's a disadvantage if you got to learn Latin to be able to get the words and understand the words of your quote unquote creator or your God. Or what about the benefit of knowing when the great flood happened? Everybody talk about the flood, but they don't know when. They don't know why it was caused. They don't know how many people died. They don't know what happened to the people after they died. They don't know why the submersion of the continent and the cause of the flood in the first place. Huh? But FYI, the flood happened 22,553 BC. And the benefit of knowing what caused the flood. Do y'all know what caused the flood? Well, faithers do. Huh? Those who are tuned to this light, they know about ponds, right? They know what caused it. Huh? Or the benefit of knowing man's early history from our creation till the time of the flood, and we ain't even got off the cover yet. So you know when the flood happened, you know why it happened, you know when it happened, huh? And the benefit of knowing man's early history from his creation all the way down to the flood. That's a benefit. Huh? Benefit number 6, huh? Knowing what spirituality or the spiritual life is. The spiritual life, or hold on one second. Hold on. 1 second. All right, what about benefit number 6, right? Knowing what spirituality or the spiritual life is. The spiritual life is our people's ability to comprehend and connect with the ever-present spirit that is the essence and creator of all reality, huh? Because our people's spirit is of its spirit, precept upon precept, book of inspiration. I am to your spirit like the sun is to a ray of light. I am the light that illuminates your soul. The ray of light that goes out of me, not that he is the light, huh? The ray of light that goes out of him. He's the producer. Huh? The creator is not light. He is the producer. The ray of light that goes out of me takes root in mortality, and you are the product. Huh? If you the product, guess what? Creator has to be the producer. Hmm? I am already 6 benefits in, and I haven't even left off the cover yet. On the inside, on the inside cover of Oahspe, it is written that it is a primary, a book for the spiritual and practical enlightenment and development of individuals, groups, and humanity for their glory and happiness and for the glory of the whole. Notice Oahspe benefits individuals, groups, and humanity. It benefits the group when the individual is developed spiritually, and it benefits humanity when the group is developed spiritually. Also, the benefit of Oahspe actually being a primary source, clearly the Bible can't make that claim. How about benefit number 12, knowing the difference between a true God and the ever-present creator? Book of Discipline. Hear the words of your God, oh man. God is your brother. God is not your father. God is the brother, not the father. The creator created God too. He's part of creation, just like you're part of creation, just like I'm part of creation. So to praise a God, any God, is to willingly put yourself as a subservient slave, because you both are the creation, and he ain't no different than you. Him anciently ain't no different than you right now. You were both men who came out the womb of a woman. He just died, what? And risen from mortality to a holy place in heaven. Profit in my wisdom and be admonished by my love, because hear your word, or hear your God, oh man, and distinguish then that the two, God and Yahweh, God and the creator, are not the same one. God and the creator are not the same thing. God, and the nigga who makes sun, moons, and stars are not the same thing. God, who tell you thou shalt not kill and then turn around and tell you to kill little infant babies, and the nigga who make galaxies and quasars are not the same thing. But this is the dope part. Nor God and Jehovah ain't the same thing. But nor is your God more than what you shall be in time to come. God is an assurity for those who seek the light. It's a status, it's a rank, a position. You can get there though. That's like saying, oh, you can't be a high school graduate. Yes, you can. Guess what? Guess what awaits after you graduate? Godhood. We have the benefit of knowing, that there's someone more powerful than even true God. And we never said that there was no gods. We just said that there are real ones and fake ones. But we saying that even true God, the real one, is someone more powerful than him, who tell him what to do. Huh? That's a benefit to know that. Man, it's somebody more powerful than God. Book of Esdras. Look at your creator. Look what he say, how he treat gods and lords and all these lower entities. Look how he treat them. Book of Esdras 3:2. Creator says, whoever sees my way cannot fail to understand. So that begs to ask the question, what are my Israelite brothers doing? Because I know you understand this clearly. Huh? There's no way you cannot understand the clarity. Because see, whoever sees the creator's way cannot fail to understand. Why? Because he does not quibble nor beat around the bush. Even lords and gods are as nothing in his hands. He says, I trim them up and prune their orchards in my own way. I sift and I weigh and I assort. For I am Yahweh Almighty. How about the benefit of knowing what a true God is? They don't know. Oahspe, Book of Discipline. Huh? As a kingdom on earth has a king, and the king is nevertheless immortal, so in like manner is the heavenly place of your God, a kingdom of angels, and the chief over them is God, an angel also. Therefore, I am like any other spirit of the dead, a one-time man upon earth, even as you are in this day. Huh? But one with the organic heavens of the earth. How about the benefit of knowing the who, what, and how of the creator of all? Huh? Oahspe, Book of Yahweh. Huh? All was, all is, all shall ever be. Huh? That is past. Look. That is past. All was. Huh? This is present. All is. And this is future. All shall ever be. So all was, all is, all shall ever be. This is the creator admitting that he is all space and time. And that everything that you think came at creation already was. Right? You've just been dumbed down by the religious God spell found in religion and taught by the false gods. They think just because at the creation of our earth or at the creation of our sun, that starts all creation. No, dummy. What was our galaxy sitting in before it got created? Well, remember, our solar system sits in a galaxy, a spiraling, vortexing, whirling galactic body. Our solar system is just a smaller version of that and spins around the galactic spiral. So before our sun could be made, there had to be the substance already there in existence in a galaxy that existed, because what y'all don't know is our sun, right? The sun that they say give us light, right? That you look it out in the sky right now, it is spinning around a sun in the galactic center. Our sun has a sun. Our son is the baby boy, is the little fella, is the child of the galactic star in the middle of our galaxy. Look at Creator admitting, I am everything. I am all space and time. The all spoken motion was and is and ever shall be, and being positive as an energy was called he and him. The all motion was his speech, right? So the question is, you need to ask yourself or ask your AI if you ain't sharp enough or you didn't go to 3rd grade or graduate from 5th grade, because that's where we learned that. We learned it in 3rd and they locked it in by 5th grade. We all knew that all things in the universe were in motion. Nothing is still in fact. We learned that 3rd grade, right? But if you need to ask your AI, are all things in the universe in motion? Go ahead and do that, man. The only bad question is the question you don't ask. Huh? Therefore, I am like any other spirit of the dead. A one-time man upon earth. Huh? All was, all is, all shall ever be. Motion was and is and never shall be. And being positive was called he and him. This is why they always infer the creator as a he, because they're only observing the visible part of creation. All motion was his speech. See, the key hidden benefit is that we know why the creator is called him. Or how about the benefit of knowing why there is a great duality throughout creation? What is duality? Duality is the quality or state of having two different or opposite parts or elements, precept upon precept. See, they called the creator a he, right? He and him because of the positive force, the electric. Well, what about the magnetic? Huh? If they called him he and him because he was positive, right? They would call her she and her because of the negative, right? And when we say in positive and negative, we're talking about energy. We're not talking about good and bad, light and dark. We're not talking about that. We're talking about positive, negative. Remember, in the great duality we see throughout all visible creation, right? So even the creator is he is the great duality. So we see things in a duality. What is the Om? The Om in the panic tongue is the negative of the creator. Huh? The female. If he gotta be all of it. If he gonna be the male part, he gotta be the female part too. If he gonna be the left, he gotta be the right. If he the up, he gotta be the down. If he's the in, he has to be the out. If he's the centrifugal, he also has to be the centripetal. He must be all. This is why you see a great duality. Why? Because the negative of the creator is the female, quote unquote, part. That which projects, didn't they just show you? That which projects or is positive, was called he and him, right? Is positive and called he and him, but that which receives is negative. The female aspect of the creator, right? And we ain't talking about having a vagina and a penis. Don't be so base, low, and degenerate your whole life. One day, you can be sharper than your God too. That which projects is positive, but that which receives is negative. The book of Yahweh, Jehovah said, because of my presence, I quicken into life all that live. Not that Jesus did it because I told him to. Not that some angels came down here and, I did it by itself. He didn't need to go to sleep. He never needed no rest. Huh? He said, I quicken into life all that have ever lived. And because I am male, positive, and female, negative, even in my likeness, even though I am the great duality, even in my likeness, I made them thus. Made who thus? I made man thus. Because this always trips me out. Right here. Look at this. It says, because I am the power. Right? Not that I source the power, I use the power, I brought the power. No, nigga, I am the power. Check. Hit me with a vortex. Let's go. Because I am the power to quicken into life, so in likeness of me, I made them with the power to bring forth, talking about procreation, right? Giving us the benefit of knowing, right, that the male aspect is the positive. It is the quickener of life, right? Is the unmaterial, unseen part. You can't see electricity. You can't see the energy. Huh? That is the material unseen. That which transmits or brings forth is the positive and the male aspect of all creation. But the female aspect, listen, is the negative, and not negative as in I'm trying to say you're dark, you're low, you're evil. I'm talking about the opposite of positive. If there's a positive, there must be a what, y'all? A negative. The male part of electromagnetism is called what? Electricity. The magnetic part or the negative part is called female. Right? The female aspect is the negative. She is the one, or is the womb that births the spirit upon death. She is the material seen, opposite of the immaterial, unseen of the positive. She's what we see. She gives us our body. Huh? She gives us our rhythms, our cyclic rates that come along attached with the earth. Right? You go through a process just like the earth go through a process. Infancy, childhood, adolescence, maturity, adulthood, and death. Planet go through the same thing too. Why? Because she gave you your corporeality, the part of you that you can see. Remember, man is a dual thing. Man has a part that you can see and has a part that you can't see. Huh? What about the benefit of modern scientific discovery? Modern scientific discovery agrees with Oahspe about conception. Watch this. When a sperm meets an egg, sparks fly, literally. Notice these words. Sparks. Sparks fly literally. Right? According to a study published in the Scientific Reports, an explosion of zinc fireworks occurs when a human egg is activated by a sperm enzyme. Watch this. The intensity of the what? The sparks, scientists say, indicates the egg's potential to develop into a healthy embryo. Watch this. Watch this. You see this picture of the zinc fireworks reveal the quality of the human egg. See these dark ones? Them ain't gonna be the more viable ones. But you see these ones that's lit up? First of all of them got light except really this one. But look how bright these ones are. Boom, 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 boom. Right? They say that show the viability of the egg. But we talking about a spark, right? Remember, the intensity of the spark, scientists say, indicates the egg's potential to develop into a healthy embryo. Watch this. Right? This is from the source video of when sperm meets an egg, sparks really do fly. But watch what Oahspe say. Because remember, science is going to agree. Well, Oahspe say this first, and then science double back and says, and agrees with it. See, out of the darkness, or out of the womb, the triple black darkness of the womb, man has brought forth a blank. Is that true? Show me a baby who knows how to do geometry. Show me a baby who knows how to speak. Show me a baby who can come out and do a egg souffle and a dock all around, man, with the nice Chianti. Show me a child coming out the womb who has that, huh? Or even knows its name, or even knows it's a human, right? Children are brought forth blanks. We don't know anything, huh? Science backs that up. And his entity is a what? What? It's a spark of the Great Spirit. How is it even saying spark like that? Talking about conception, right? And then we turn around and look in real life when the sperm hit the egg, it really have a spark of light. Jaja say it's a start. Watch it. Out of the darkness, man is brought forth the blank, and his entity is a spark of the Great Spirit. His entity will never cease to grow. Yes, from the hour of conception, it is a new star. A what? Hold on. This bet not look like a star. Huh? It is a new star. Do that look like the moon? Do that look like what a planet looks like? Uh-oh. Ain't our sun that same shape? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Huh? He become a man is brought forth the blank, and his entity is a spark of the creator, and his entity will never cease to grow. Yes, from the hour of conception, huh? It is a new star, huh? It is a new star. Look what don't that look like the stars you see at night? Huh? It is a new star in the world, and it magnifies itself forever, solving a great riddle, huh, of life, right? Solving the great riddle. Life starts at conception. Huh? And the people try to argue that and, go against it, but Yahweh, creator, is clearing up these misunderstandings. Life predates conception. But the human spirit is combined with the physical part, and that begins your individual life, and that started at conception. You got to understand, you are not the life. You were given life. And guess what? Life will be taken away from you again, and this corporeal part will return back down to the dust, while the ethereal, unseen, feminine, negative part returns to the atmospheric levels that it was birthed from. Life for the human being starts at conception, but that is not the beginning of life, right? Even your mama had to be alive to birth you alive. So that doesn't start life, right? I say life predates corporeal, physical anything. Life already existed, huh? This is why Yahweh say, I am the power, huh? This is why he say, I'm the quickener, the mover, right? The life giver. Why? Because I am life. What about the spiritual benefit of, or the benefit of knowing or having spiritual development and cultivation? Book of Agapity, son of Yahweh. It says, your spirit grows by cultivation. This is how you grow your spirit. Did you know you can get physically strong and spiritually strong all at the same time? If you did, hit me with a 1 in the chat. If you didn't, hit me with a 2 in the chat. If you knew that you can get physically strong and spiritually strong at the same time, right? Hit me with a 1 if you knew that. If you didn't know that, hit me with a 2. Being honest, a lot of people didn't know that. And if you did know that, you learned it from me. How you get strong physically is opposite of how you get strong spiritually. That's not cap. To be real, did y'all know that you could cultivate spirit? If you didn't know that, that is benefit of reading Oahspe. What we talking about? Huh? Just like you develop a jump shot, huh? You can develop spiritual attributes and strength. How you do it, Cosmon? Your spirit grows by cultivation, which is by the practice of wisdom, truth, virtue, benevolence, and affiliation with others. So how do you get strong spiritually? By working out with that wisdom, by lifting up some of that truth, by doing a couple of virtue crunches. Practicing some benevolence push-ups. That gets your spirit strong. You don't have to do any of these things to get your physical strong, let alone affiliate with others. You ain't got to rock with nobody to get buff physically. But see, it's the opposite spiritually. It's a benefit to know, huh? Or how that you can get spiritual. You can get as strong as Moses spiritually. You can be as strong as Elijah and Elisha. You can be as strong as Abraham, huh? Now you know here's a benefit to knowing how to do it. Practice wisdom, truth, virtue, benevolence, and affiliation with others. Huh? Or how about the benefit of knowing why there will never be another you? You can have 1,000 sons, 1,000,000 daughters, 100 million cosmos. None of them are going to be you. Even on some weird stuff, if you could have sex with yourself and produce the offspring, it would be a mutated version, but it would still not be you. Let that sink in. Even if they cloned you, right? We know that's probably a possibility today. Oh, well, shit, they've been making test tubes, baby. The test tube baby is the same age as I am. She old. Test tube baby already got a baby who looked like a clone. Huh? Anyways. What about the benefit of knowing why there never be another you? Why ain't there gonna be no more cosmos? Huh? Jaja really broke the mold when he made me. He broke the mold when he made you. Book of Esdras. The creator is life. Didn't I just tell y'all that? You see how it all run together? I don't be capping. The creator is life. How do you prove life? By emotion. The creator is life. Motion. Individual. And person. In proof of which, how do you prove that the creator is life, motion, individual, and person? Of which he gave to you life. How you prove it? How you prove there ain't gonna never be no more yous? He gave to you life, motion, and individuality. Ain't no more yous. Ain't no more Gideons. Huh? Ain't no more Annas. Ain't no more Elijahs. You the last of it. You the greatest of it. Huh? I'm not saying that your son won't go on or your daughter won't go on to be a superstar or something. I'm not saying that. As a matter of fact, I'm saying the opposite. I'm assuredly that they'll be greater in mind and spirit than you are. That's the dope part. But because Jehovah is life, he gave you life. Because he is motion, he gave you motion. Because he is an individual, he gave you an individuality. And because he is the all person, he gave you an individual personage. There will never be another you. Huh? To develop these four entities, your life, motion, individuality, and your personage, is resurrection towards the creator more and more, which is heavenly. To neglect them or pervert them is to go away from the creator, which is declension, which can lead to entire destruction. See, there's also a benefit of knowing that dark acts and deeds are inspired by demonic spirits. Book of Leka. If the mortal cannot control his habit for intoxication or gluttony or avarice or debauchery or laziness or lying or hypocrisy, debauchery, how many debauched acts we see in the biblical text? What about lying? Not only your God send lying spirits and put them in the mouth of his prophets on purpose to create hypocrisy. Huh? How many of y'all preaching what you do not practice? How many pastors doing that for real? Or sexual indulgence. You know he hunching on Sister Johnson. Or vengeance, like the God. Or anger, or tattling mischievously. Then he is indeed a victim in the hands of drugers or evil spirits. So how is a biblical God that practices your God? How is a biblical God that practices hypocrisy, motivates through fear and curses, demands animal slaughter, is full of vengeance, anger, and jealousy, and mischief, beneficial to our people if that behavior leads to the destruction and the declension of our people? How? Is a biblical God better or beneficial if it practices all those negative traits? Hypocrisy, fear, it curses, commands the death of animals and children, is based in anger and fear and jealousy and mischief. It's a degenerate. So how, can that be beneficial for our people if it leads them to destruction and declension? Benefit number 24, how to expose all false gods and deities. And benefit number 25 is that we know what a God is and a benefit of how to differentiate between true God and the false ones. That's a benefit also. Regarding a false God are angels who falsely assume the title of God. Anybody can say they God. Cosmon God, who's and ever God, whatever you want to choose, you can just say it. Who's gonna stop you from saying it? It's the same thing for low demonic spirits. They can just say it. And if they convince anybody into their God spell indoctrination, these are the reasons you have biblical text to this day. The Upanishads, the Hadiths, and the Quran, the Bible, right? Didn't they say an angel came and told them to write this? Remember this and go get it written. At the ecumenical councils, the very first one of Nicaea, you dig what I'm talking about? They wrote out the text. Didn't Jibril go to Muhammad in the Mount of Hera, in the cave of Hera, and command him to recite and read? These are angels who are assuming the title of God. Just like Jibril told Muhammad he was Allah, or the most high knowledge. Book of Safar, who is God? The answers come quickly. Them benefits come quickly in Oahspe. Because see, we got it straight. We clear over here. Who is God? What is a God? A God is a spirit. With a heavenly throne, believed by people in darkness. God is a spirit with a heavenly throne, believed by people in darkness to be the creator. So the proof that you are indoctrinated right now, if you want to prove in real time that you are indoctrinated, ask yourself, is God the creator? And if you say yes, that God is the creator, that is proof objectively you are indoctrinated. You are in darkness. If you think God creates, you one of these people in darkness. Because a God is a spirit with a heavenly throne believed by people in darkness to be the creator of all things. Now, these familial spirits often call themselves God. Osiris, Baal, Ashtaroth, Hagok, Anu, Enlil, Anki, Thoth, Horus, Zeus, Mars, Phrates, Odin. These spirits often called themselves God and taught y'all to call them that also. Now it seems my opponent is clearly one of them people stuck in the darkness, indoctrinated into praising the creation and not the creator. And tonight, I guess everybody, my opponent, I'm punching on everybody. If you think God created the universe, that is proof you've been duped. Where you get that from? You got that from religion. Ain't nothing spiritual about it. Religion indoctrinated you with that belief. That is proof you are in darkness. We had a benefit of knowing what an idol is. Book of Sapphire. What is an idol? Anything having form and figure that is worship. But wait, biblical God has a form and figure and he is worshiped. Let's prove God, right? They Lord, right? Has form and figure. Holy Bible, right? Isaiah 6:1. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw. I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't in no prophetic state. I wasn't high. I wasn't drunk. I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne. This is why I asked the brother in the debate, since you know your God, you say you believe in him, but you know him, right? And that he is sitting on the throne, pointing at the throne. Right? Right? This is Isaiah. Isaiah said he saw it. Isaiah would be able to point at it. And how do we know he got form and figure? Not only is he sitting on a throne, so you got to have legs, hind parts, a back, and a physical body to sit on a throne. Which means you can be comprehended. He saw him. Remember, Jaja, the creator, is incomprehensible and can't be seen. So who the hell is Isaiah looking at? I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, so he could tell he was at a different height than where he was at looking at him. He was lifted up. He was in a higher, not realm, but he was physically higher than him. And he had a train. A train is like a long coat. So you got to have shoulders and arms and a back and a physical body to have a train. This entity, your Lord, was comprehended by Isaiah. So if your God is sitting on a throne, that means he has an ass that he sits on that throne. It's clearly beneficial to be able to prove that biblical God is an idol with form and figure. And by the way, when they said you made man in his image and all that stuff, a thought, right, or an image in the mind, right, is also has form and figure. See, you can't show me in your mind or draw a picture from a thought in your mind of creator. But I can draw you a picture of your Lord God sitting on a throne. From a thought, that's an image, right? So if your God has an image, that proves he's false too. Creator has no image. Huh? What about benefit number 29? The Bible claims to be immaculate, but contradictory texts can be found within its pages. While Oahspe claims it is not immaculate, but no lies or contradictory statements can be found within Oahspe. This is the first book of God, 13 and 19. Here goes some contradictory text right in the Bible, but explained in Oahspe, right? First book of God. God said, behold, there is a time to clear up all things, present and past. And look what he said. Were Abraham fathers to Hagar's son Ishmael? If Abraham was Ishmael daddy, and had Abraham been true to the law of sacrifice among the heathen, right? Then Ishmael, being his firstborn, would have been chosen for the burnt offering. Huh? Wasn't Ishmael older than Isaac? If you're going to bring back the law of sacrifice, well, it got to be the law of the first fruits. So if that's true, Ishmael would have been, being born first, would have been chosen for the burnt offering. But why didn't he choose? Why didn't the Spirit choose Ishmael? Because Abraham is not Ishmael's father. Right? Lying contradictory text. Watch this. So watch be cleared up. In which matter, the Ezra Bible, the Bible that you got today, written by Ezra, is shown to be false before the Creator in regard to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, and the burnt offerings also. He said, which words were not my words? Not even my words, nor they were the words of my angels, but the words of the Egyptian record. Right? How about the double benefit of knowing exactly who the lying scribes are, and exactly what they wrote, right? Remember the lying scribes? Jeremiah 8:8. How can we say we are wise and the law of the Lord is with us, but behold, the lying pen of the scribes has made it into a lie? Right? Oahspe, reading Oahspe, you have the benefit of knowing exactly who the lying scribes are and exactly what they wrote. Your Bible admits that the people who wrote it are liars. How can we say we are wise and the law of the Lord is with us, but behold, the lying pen of the scribes has made it into a lie? Oahspe, Arkaban, 17 through 18 and 21. Watch this. Who are these lying scribes? Pharaoh's scribes and recorders. Who? Assembled in Kaona, and they appointed Phayah, an Egyptian, to write the departure of the Israelites out of Egypt. And Phayah wrote the account and called it the Exodus of the Hebrews. And it was recorded in the king's house of records. See, there's a benefit to knowing, right, that this Egyptian record has been found. Oahspe ain't saying nothing that it can't prove, right? Science backs up everything Oahspe say. That's why it's an authority. That's why it's primary. Because you didn't know this. That Phayah, under Amos, called Amos, watch this. There's a benefit, watch this, to knowing that this Egyptian record has been found and proved to have been written in the correct time, by Amos of Ecbatana, circa 1550 BC. We found this. That's true. The story of the Exodus of the Hebrews or the Hikakasu is documented in Egypt by Amos of Ecbatana at the time that the new kingdom was being put into place by Amos the first. But watch this. And copies of it were sent to the large cities, right? We learning who these lying scribes are, but now we about to learn what they wrote. Watch this. And the copies of it were sent to the large cities, and they're recorded also, for such was the law of Egypt. Phayah's record, listen, Phayah's record was afterward accepted by Ezra, and is that which is known to this day as the first book of Exodus. It's the first book of Exodus. You want us to praise this book. You want us to praise this God, but you don't know which God it is. Look, Phayah's record was accepted by Ezra. We know for a fact Ezra wrote your Bible in 496, took 44 years to compile, and roughly at 450 at the first great Sanhedrin, that's when you get your Tanakh. Why? Because he got it from Israel's enemies, not Israel themselves. Why did he have to go get Israel's record from his enemies? Why didn't he just write it? Because he ain't an Israelite either. He's a Jew. Remember, Israelites were never enslaved in Babylon. The Jews were enslaved in Babylon. That's why they speak Hebrew. And the real Israelites never spoke Hebrew. They spoke Aramaic. Phayah's a record, right? The false record of Phayah was afterward accepted by Ezra and is that which is known today, 2026, as the first book of Exodus. That's a benefit of knowing, that the story is false in 2026. But watch this. The book of Genesis, as it stood in the Egyptian records, was written by who? Akaboth and Duram and Hazeh, and was the substance from which Ezra copied it through his scribes. Even, hey, you better chill out. You want to go in the cage? Oh, that's what I thought. Ezra copied it through his scribes, even as it is to this day. So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, was written by Akaboth, Duram, and Hased by Jews under Babylonian captivity, not Israelites. And is word for word taken directly from the Egyptian record. Ezra copied it through his scribes, even as it is to this day in the King James Version. The inspiration of Genesis was from the god Osiris, the false. Yes, that Osiris, the false god that come from Egypt. Huh? Had the son Horus and the sister Isis and all that. Yeah, he's a false god. But guess what? He is the God of the books of Genesis and Exodus. Well, then, who is the God? Well, that begs to ask the question, if the God changed then, is that why we see the change in the New Testament from the Old Testament? God said he didn't change, but he sure changed in that Bible. The inspiration of the book of Genesis was from the god Osiris the false. How y'all get it, though? How y'all get this fake story? Huh? It was from the god Osiris the false and his emissaries, chief of whom were Yataba, or who we know as Yoruba. Uh-oh. Yo, Yoruba African spirituality doctrine? Yeah. Pushed by the false god Osiris. Yeah. That the same Christianity dupe that you got now, you got then. The inspiration of Genesis was from the false god Osiris and his emissaries, chief of whom were Yataba, aka Yoruba, and Egypt. See, y'all thought Egypt was a Greek name of a city. No, nigga. Egypt is Phoenician. But you didn't know that the land was named after an angel. Huh? The word Egypt predates Kemet. Predates Tassete. Huh? You didn't know that. You said, "Oh, the Greeks, you lambaste the white man on one tip, but ride his coattails on the other. You disingenuous and you degenerate. Huh? Talking about some African spirituality and stuff. And the Egyptian doctrine is a corrupted version of this, and so is the Yoruba doctrine, a corrupted version, the biggest in Africa. Both of them. And your gods were angel servants to a false god Osiris either way. So all them Epis and them little gods they got over there in that Egyptian spirituality and all that, that's nothing but religion. Made up belief. Huh? Watch this. And so far as the record now stands in 2026, the spirit of both books, Genesis and Exodus, was the Egyptian version of the whole subject. Huh? Benefits. It's to know that the God of Genesis and Exodus is Osiris, and that the inspiration for books of Genesis and Exodus are from the records of the Egyptian. That's a benefit to know. They're not from Israelites at all. And even the people who wrote it, the Jews, are not Israelites. They're usurping a history that is not their own because they didn't have one. Exodus of the Hebrews, watch this. The Exodus of the Hebrews, as it is written, is a purposely told disinformation. The Exodus of the Hebrews in the Bible is purposely told disinformation written by Pharaoh Amos the First. There's a benefit to knowing that Phayah, Duram, Akabath, and Hazed are the literal names of the lying scribes of Jeremiah 8 and 8. Oui, that's a benefit. How about the benefit of knowing that not one word, listen to this, not one word written in the Bible was written by an Israelite? Hello, checkmate. Check please. Who knew that? Let's be real. Did you know that not one word, not one, not even in the not the first word in the Bible, in the beginning God created, the end, not even the end, was written by an Israelite? Not one word. If you knew that, right? Wait a minute. Yeah, if you knew that, hit me with a vortex. If you didn't know that, hit me with some fire emojis. Hit me with some fire emojis. Did y'all know not one word of the Bible was written by an Israelite, but it was written by the people who are usurping Israelite history and putting and writing themselves into the historical narrative? Oh, yeah, it's different. Oahspe different. How about the benefit of knowing that not one word written in the Bible was written by an Israelite? How about this? Watch this. And behold, it came to pass that the records of these Egyptians were worthless. And to make matters worse, the records were so voluminous, being more than 6,000 books, that the scribes of who? That the scribes of who? Ezra could make neither head nor tail of them. Nevertheless, they were all written in the first place, not by the Israelites. So that means Ezra ain't one either, but by the enemies. Not only is Ezra an enemy to the Israelites, right? But so are the Egyptians, where the records he copied from came from. So not one word. Nevertheless, they were written in the first place, not by the Israelites, but by their enemies. Huh? Let me move this down. Huh? What about the benefit number 34? And that's the history of Yeshua. Oh, yeah, we got Yeshua in there. We ain't got no Jeebus. Yeah. You know, Oahspe Jeebus is a literary invention and physical representation of the false god Christ. This is why y'all call him Jesus Christ, even to this day. Because that's what they was thinking of in the Council of Nicaea, even though they try to lie and say that, oh, we weren't coming up with the divinity of Jesus. Yes, you were. This is why y'all think he God. Not just this prophet, but they literally think he is God in flesh. Because that's what was argued in the Council of Nicaea. Huh? This was the whole backdrop of the Arian problem is. Right? Who lost? Arian lost. So now we have a doctrine that pushes a physical God, as the creator of the universe. What we learn about them people, that they are people in darkness. Huh? But we got real Yeshua. We got bruh. Not the physical or the literary invention of the 300s AD. We're talking about the man who was born in 146 BC, who died 36, not 33 years later in 110, right? Leaving the church to his brother, James the Just. That is during the Hasmonean dynasty, brothers and sisters. The history of the true Yeshua, the Essene, and the dietary law of purity. Think about it. Wouldn't it be beneficial for our people health-wise, knowing that their Messiah ate only fruits and vegetables? Right? Shout out my Israelite brothers. We don't bash on you, but wouldn't it be helpful? Think about it. If we learned that Jesus didn't eat that fish, and that he really was an Essene and a Nazarene and didn't eat meat or drink flesh or cut his hair, he really was that deal. Wouldn't it be beneficial for our people health-wise knowing that their Messiah only ate fruits and vegetables? But firstly, what about the benefit of knowing that it was Moses himself who even named the Essenes? Not only Jesus is one of them, he come from a long line. I mean, Yeshua is one of them. He come from a long line of them. But where they get the name from? God's book of Esdras. And these angels inspired 700 Israelites to separate themselves from all other people and to go live by the directions of the angels of the Creator. Moreover, the angels inspired these people to call themselves Essenes, as commanded by Moses. In heaven, you gotta read Oahspe. You just can't cherry pick it. Oahspe glossary. Essene, that is a followers of the Spirit. This is what Essenes mean. Essene means followers of the Spirit, in contradistinction to those who follow the dictates of the flesh. Today we know them as Essenes, right? But let's get back to benefit number 34. Many of us already claim to be Nazarene and of Nazarene and Essene lineage. Yeah. All right. 1 second, y'all. Get back to this. But let's get back to benefit number 4, right? Because many of us already claim descent from Nazarene and Essene lineage, right? So this won't even be a stretch. See, with the benefit of understanding that Yeshua, the Essene, was a vegetarian, the positive ramifications that would reverberate throughout the entirety of Israel would be an unending glory. Just the aspects of eating better, stopping these diseases in our neighborhoods and in our lives and in Israel of it in and of itself by our negative eating habits. If you learn that Yeshua was the real deal and he only ate herbs and he ate vegetarian, our brothers who are serious would also eat vegetarian. The effect on the cumulative health of Israelites, Nazarenes, Essenes, Faithists as a whole, would reverberate to the end of the galaxy. How you think you about to produce these prophets, Israel, if your body is tainted? These Essenes were therefore a separate people. Listen. These Essenes were therefore a separate people, pledged to the Creator to have no king or earth ruler. Uh-oh. That's a problem. If the real Israelites, the real Essenes, never had a king or earth ruler, then who is the hell is them? Listen, I'm going to just keep going. These Essenes were therefore a separate people, pledged to the Creator to have no king or earth ruler, except their rabbis. And they dwelt in communities and families of tens, 20s, hundreds, holding all things in common. But in marriage, they were monogamous. These people only lived in communities of tens, 20s, and hundreds. Them niggas faking like they Israelites lived in whole kingdoms. The real Israelites were a separate people. They didn't live in the kingdoms. They never dealt with the king's people. Right? The real Essenes were pledged to the Creator. No lords, no gods, no earth ruler. So we see that these Essenes are the exact opposite of the people that they saying they are, or the people that they are claimed to be in Bible. The real Israelites do the opposite of what the biblical Jews do. Listen, the real Israelites dwelt in communities and families of tens, 20s, and hundreds, holding all things in common. Ezra didn't do that. Ezra, after so-called getting Cyrus to put him back into the land, he went back to Babylon and started a what? A bank. How many wives? The real Israelites were monogamous. They had one wife. How many wives did Saul have? How many wives did David have? How many wives did Solomon have? See, you can tell me you an Israelite, right? All you want to, but you got to show me you living it. Nor would they have more than one suit of clothes each. Y'all know these boys went around in pomp and glory as kings. They had on crowns and everything. That ain't what the real Israelites did. That's what the fake Jews who claiming they Israelites did. And yes, Jews are white and black. If you want to be base, you dig what I'm talking about, just use color. They come in both colors. I'm just saying you a traitor in a turncoat no matter what your skin color is. You turned your back on the Creator. And said, better David. Hold on. Better David. We rather have David. We rather have Saul. We rather have Solomon than the Creator. Nor would they have more than one suit of clothes each. And they lived on fruit and herbs or vegetables only. Yeshua lived on vegetables only. Yeshua was an Essene. And not only was he an Essene, he was from the stricter group of even higher Israelites within the Essenes called the Nazarenes. The Nazarene is a vow. It's a vow that you take. Huh? It's a vow to eat them herbs and fruits and vegetables only, and the bathe every day, and the never let that razor hit your head, and follow the Great Spirit only. Nazarene is an oath, not a city. Nazareth was made much later, right? And created to try to authenticate what was put in the Bible. So that stuff get backdated. And nor did they eat fish or flesh or anything that had breathed the breath of life. This is a real Essene Nazarene, which Yeshua was. And they bathed every morning at sunrise and worship before the altar of the Creator, doing in all things in the manner of the ancient faiths, by virtue of the angel hosts who were with them. They did these things, and they held communion with the angels of heaven every night before sleep. Here's a secret key benefit, right? Oahspe is the only book that reveals not only the source, but the purpose of prayers before bedtime in all history. You don't know why you was told to pray before bedtime. Now you know. See, there's a benefit to knowing. Some things don't change. They don't hate you because of your color. They hate you because they want to be you. Let that sink in. And though the Essenes lived in great purity of body and soul, yet they were evilly slandered by the world's people all around them, even by the Jews. Didn't y'all kill Yeshua, the Essene Nazarene? But the Creator prospered the seed of the Essenes in holiness and love for many generations. And then came Gaphaniah, chief of the Lewis, or the spiritual geneticist. That's what a Lewis is, a reader of light in DNA. Then came Gaphaniah, chief of the genetic angelic beings, according to the command of God to raise up an heir to the voice of the Creator. And in 4 more generations, or 132 years, there was born and named Yeshua. And he was the child of Joseph and his wife Mara, devout worshipers of the Creator, who stood aloof from all other people except the Essenes. Book of inspiration. And I said the man be observing. Here's a benefit, right? Here's a benefit right here, right? Put this right here. There's a benefit to knowing that your ancestor was right when he told you, you are what you eat. That's a benefit. Book of inspiration. And I said the man be observant of what you shall eat and drink, and where you shall dwell by day and sleep by night. For whatever you charge your blood with, listen, whatever you put in your mouth, that is broken down in your belly, and that you charge your blood with, shall be charged upon your spirit. Because you cannot feed on fish or flesh except through destruction to death, even so destruction to death shall come upon your soul. For from your own blood. This is why you got to save you in the end of the day. Because from your own blood, your spirit shall be inspired, even according to what your blood contains. Huh? It's a benefit to knowing you are what you eat. Now, these benefits from round one. We now know we have the benefit of knowing what spirituality is. We have the benefit of knowing the difference between a true God and the ever-present creator. We have the benefit of that modern scientific discoveries agree with Oahspe about conception. Mind you, Oahspe revealed it in 1881. Science didn't catch this till after 1981, right? And wasn't being able to be proved till 2011. Modern science agrees with Oahspe about the spark of the creator in conception. How about the benefit to know how to practically grow and cultivate your spirit? That's not taught anywhere else. Huh? If they try to say chakra work or any of that is anything like this, it's not. And I'm not saying the movement of vortex and spiraling energy that goes through different quote unquote portals or chakras throughout the body is not real. I'm just saying you're using it for the wrong thing. Or how about the benefit of knowing how to expose all false gods and deities? Or the benefit of the identity of the false scribes and their deity? Or how about the benefit of the history of the true Yeshua that is seen in his consumption of fruits and vegetables, right? And the alkaline versus acidic blood, right? Because that's what it get back to. How many of us been eating that goat head on the on Easter? How many of y'all got gout and high blood pressure? How many of y'all closing in on 50 and bodies feel terrible? How many of y'all got sicknesses and illnesses? Better change your diet. You are what you eat, and you got to save you. Huh? Because what you put in your body will be charged in your blood. What about benefit number 37? Knowing the character of any government. Huh? Yes, the kings and governments have perceived to keep my people in ignorance is to keep them forever in bondage. Off the top, Oahspe gives us the benefit of multiple empirical points of view. Oahspe reveals that it's actually mentally beneficial to know that liberty is more beneficial than bondage. What about the benefit of knowing what liberty is and its true purpose? I created man at zero, but for him to add to himself forever. Liberty I gave to him to add only that which perfecteth his own soul. Wherefore, if he eat poison, it taketh from his body, which I gave. Herein made I a boundary, both on earth and in heaven, which is to say, inasmuch as a man accumulateth virtue, wisdom, patience, love, truth, and pure words, he is free. Because in so doing, he followeth me, Yahweh, in my works. Benefit number 39. Knowing the two different conditions for all mortals and spirits. Book of Su. Two states, therefore, have I created, open to all men, both on earth and in atmosphere. The heavens belonging to the earth, right? Which are liberty. I created two states, which are liberty and bondage. And man I made to choose that which he will. So now it's time for you to choose. What are you going to choose, y'all? I want y'all to post it in the chat, right? Post me an L for liberty or post me a B for bondage. You choose. Which one do you want? Do you want liberty or do you want bondage? The Creator said he made you to choose. And there's only 2 states. How to know if a government is for its people? Huh? Book of Sue. Even so are the governments ordained by my holy ones, wherein ye may judge whether a government be of me, the Creator, or against me. For if it gives liberty to all righteous works, and for the promotion of knowledge, providing teachers to the extent of its demand, it is of me. But if the government maketh of itself a self, anybody ever heard of the federal government? For which it aggrandizement is at the expense of my children's liberty, then it is against me. I would like to ask you, have you been taxed this year? Huh?
What's in that garbage?
Yep. Get out of that garbage. Stay out of there. I know. But the government maketh of itself a self, for which its aggrandizement is at the expense of my children's liberty, then it is against me. It's a benefit to knowing if your government is for the Creator or against the Creator, because if it is against the Creator, then it is against the people. Again, were you taxed this year? Huh? How many of us owe 100,000 plus in schooling debt? Did the United States government set itself up to aggrandize itself at the expense, at the tax of the people? Ask yourself, is your government of the Creator? Or is it of the world? Benefit number 41, to know why there's internal conflict within any government of today or the past. For as I have hedged man about with sentinels, such as pestilence, poverty, and hunger, in order to awaken to him knowledge and industry, so have I hedged in all governments under the sun with sentinels, such as rebellion and assassinations and war and bankruptcy. You better look around. As pestilence, as Roni wrong, proveth man's disobedience to my commandments, so do rebellion and anarchy prove the disobedience of governments to the progressive spirit with which I created man. How about benefit number 42? How about knowing an Israelite and a Jew are 2 different people and did 2 different things? I keep telling y'all. Book of Safa, the faithists or the Israelites proper were a small minority and scattered in many lands. So guess what you can't do if you are scattered in many lands? You can never make a kingdom. Kingdom of Judah, kingdom of Israel. How can you do that if the real Israelites are scattered all across the world and are a small minority? You can't, because the people who are in the kingdom are not faithists in fact. They're not Israelites in fact. What are they called? The rest. See, the Israelites is a small group. The rest of them niggas that's hanging on, which is what Levitican means. A wannabe, a hanger on, right? The rest who were called Jews. An Israelite and a Jew ain't the same thing. The Israelites were a small minority and scattered in many lands. But the rest who were called Jews lived under written laws. Y'all got written laws? That's because you're a Jew. Israelites don't have those. Do y'all have written ceremonies? Yes, because y'all are Jews. Israelites don't have those, right? Which were compiled and established by Ezra in Jerusalem. Real Israelites don't have a book that was established by Ezra in Jerusalem. But the Jews do. And it was written under the inspiration of the false Christ, a.k.a. Luamon, the nigga in 1911, Revelations 1911, that's riding on a horse that's going to do war. He inspired Ezra. He the nigga that gave Ezra that Molly water that had him talking for 40 days. Your scribe of your Bible is a dope fiend. He was off that dope. And so we not so we know that y'all are Jews. How do we know they Jews? By what they do. How do we know that these Negroes, they keep trying to claim they Israelites? Nothing is an Israelite about Gideon. Nothing. How do we know this Negro is a Jew and not a real Israelite? Right? Because they use the book, right? That today is called the Bible. Jews use the Bible. The real Israelites never did. Real Israelites had oral laws. The Jews, aka the Leviticans, had written laws. Whose combination of books was called the Bible and was completed the year 496 BC. That's Babylonian captivity, ain't it? Jews and Israelites ain't the same people. They do two different things. You can prove it objectively, not by lip service and subjective belief. How to liberate yourselves or ourselves from systematic oppression. Hear the words of God, O Israel. Do not shut yourself up against the wisdom of your elder brother. Who is your elder brother? God of heaven and earth. God is a job, bro. And I have provided to you, after the manner of your forefathers, a place to inhabit, where you shall no longer pay tribute to the gods of the idolaters. Come out of darkness, come out of the darkness and despotism, and inherit the wilderness of this land, America. He's saying, inherit the land of America. And it shall bloom like a new paradise before your hand. And you shall forsake the ways of the world and go live in the manner of your forefathers in colonies without kings or rulers, serving none but the Creator. You say, oh, that's crazy, God, man. You just want to leave up out of here, blah, 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 blah. Well, good people are just going to have to get away from bad people in the end of the day. You ain't gonna be able to outwar them, outkill them, right? And then turn around and then try to claim the moral high ground. No, you just got to get away from them. We ain't got no kings, no rulers, no slaves, no masters. We only follow one. And that's the Creator. And it shall come to pass for you, O Israel, the way of your people shall be open, and they shall be delivered out. They shall be delivered out of the bound kingdoms of the east. They shall be delivered out of Syria, delivered out of Turkey, delivered out of Palestine, delivered out of Egypt, delivered out of North Africa, delivered out of Persia. And yet, these Negroes is trying to convince us to go back and set up a demona. Go back over there to the land where ain't no milk and honey. Instead of taking this land, and making it bloom before you. The true land of milk and honey. Or there is a benefit to knowing that all the prophets were melanated and negroidal. First book of the first lords, first book of God and the Ark of Bond. Huh? The Ahuans were red like copper. Look at copper. And they were taller and stronger than any other people in the world. Huh? These are red copper color tones. Anybody know these colors? Know anybody these colors? I do. I'm this color. Brown. Brownie red. Huh? But look, tell them Negroes in the Bible to show you what Abraham looked like. Tell them to go in the Bible, open up a verse, show me what Abraham looked like. Describe him. They can't do it. Huh? Abraham was a pure blood and Ahuan. Huh? A large copper-colored Negro. And the light of Suez had been with his forefathers and foremothers since the flood. Hmm? And he was large and red like new copper and had black hair and a long beard, fierce to look upon, but his soul was as gentle as a woman's. Huh? Here goes some of these Elamite Persians. Tall. Huh? Long black hair and beard. Copper color. Here they go. Right? These are images of ancient Persians. Copper skin, black hair, long beards. These are Persians. These are your so-called Asiatic Negroes. Your black man of the East, who is a black man, but is not an African. Anciently, these people are called Persian, Elamite, Phoenician, Sumer. Black-headed people. They also called anciently Kushan. It is from this ancient place that the destroyed Harappan dynasty in the Kushan migrates to Africa and becomes your Meroitic Cushitic dynasties. They migrate from Lower Persia. Let that sink in. It's a benefit to knowing that your prophet is a nigga like you. What about Moses? Moses grew and became a large man, being a pure Ahuan, a copper-colored Negro, and of great strength. This is what they couldn't understand, that irregardless to everywhere, the initial population that goes on to repopulate every landmass is Negroidal. Regardless if it looked like it's Chinese, regardless if it looked like it's East Indian, regardless if it looked like it's, or they call it European, just because you call it that, don't make that what it is. Look at the Chinese, right? The great prophet of China is named Chinese. What he looked like. Oahspe was a basket maker and was like the man Zarathustra. Zarathustra, Ahuan, pure, large, copper-colored Negroidal. Right? Brown. And Chinese, his son, was the fourth birth of Ashu's wife, Song Hing. Like Moses. So Oahspe was like Zarathustra. Zarathustra was massive. But Chinese was like Moses and a contemporary of Moses also. Capelia, Chinese, and Moses were on the earth at the same time. Well, in the same ark. He would, roughly the same time though. Moses, Chinese, and Capelia. Even the Chinese guy that China is named after was like Moses. Remember, we said Moses was an Ahuan, a large copper-colored Negro of great strength. So was the Chinese, China, their prophet. He was copper-colored and very large. The only difference is, unlike Abram, who had black hair, and a beard, Chinese or the China, even though he was copper colored. His hair was red like a fox, and he was bashful in a few words. Now, the crazy part is the same thing that they put on Moses, saying that he was bashful in few words, couldn't talk good, and all that stuff, really is characteristic of Chinese. But remember, they at the same time. So could this, you dig what I'm saying, be a cultural appropriation? You know what I mean? Put in the Bible? Because remember, they said they had 6,000 texts. Just asking. How about the benefit of knowing what happens in the lower and higher heavens after you die? Ain't nobody got this benefit. It's only in Oahspe. Do you know what happens? How long it takes on the first resurrection after you die? No, that's only found in Oahspe. A massive benefit of Oahspe is that it removes the fear around death. Knowledge and experience removes fear. And we are clear on this side. For instance, Book of Divinity. This is the 15th divine law pertain to the same spirit, right? This is after a man dies who was a faithist. After he has served 3 years as a nurse assistant to the Asas, he shall be promoted to the hospitals in heaven as assistant to the physicians, and they shall teach him the restoration of spirits in chaos, and crazy spirits, and deformed spirits, and of sick spirits, and of spirits afflicted with foul smells who cannot clean themselves, especially the spirits of women who produced abortion on themselves or suffered it to be done to them, and of the monomaniacs. Huh? They talking about the Hitlers of the world, the Bonapartes, and all that, and all manner of disease spirits. Hush. And the physicians shall take him with them when they go down to mortals to remove fetals, and they shall learn how they are severed safely to both, and they shall take him to the battlefields where mortals have slain one another, whose spirits are in chaos or are still fighting, and he shall assist in bringing them away from the corporeal place. Also learn how to restore them and where to deliver them when restored. And if there are knots in any region near at hand, the physician shall take him to the knot and show him how they are untied and how they are mastered and delivered. And if there is any hell near at hand, the physician shall take him there and teach him how the hell is delivered and its people restored. For 10 years. This is just part of what happens after you die. There's a benefit. There's a benefit to knowing what happens after you die. If you ask the biblical God what happens after you die, you're going to get crickets. Crickets. But this is just 10 years of what you shall be learning in the 372-year path of the first resurrection. See right here, we got it right here. First 2 years, you're in the sand. You're an apprentice, enter an apprentice for 2 years, a craftsman for 7 years, nurse assistant to the assault for 3 years, assistant to the physician for 10 years, which we just read. Then you become a nurse for 10 years, a physician for 50 years, an entered factor for 12, a food transporter for 12, a large bodies transporter for 12. You become a creative. You learn to create things. Also, you are a ooze learner. A ooze is you learn how to condense thing in the creative, but you learn how to dissolve it in ooze. Then you enter college for 40 years. You enter architecture for 8 years, and you become a judgment and seat and throne builder for 18 years, and you enter school of light and darkness for 70 years, and then you learn how to build heavenly boats and ships. You become a propeller and a builder, huh? Somebody who knows how to travel the stars for 24 years. And then you become an atmospheric and earth traveler for 50, going to visit the places you can't see. Not only the places you can see on earth, but the places you can't see on earth. Right? Huh? See, a major benefit to faith in the Creator is while y'all trying to find the Lord to praise, we are becoming those lords. Book of Divinity. Huh? For 200 years, he shall serve as marshal. Y'all didn't know that marshal is a rank of an angel. Huh? And under as many as 40 lords and gods. That's because y'all didn't know. Y'all only thought there was one Lord and one God. There are many lords and gods because Lord and God, along with marshal, are ranks of angels. Where do you think the word lieutenant comes from? Corporal. Huh? Where do you get the word general from? Marshal. Same thing with Lord and God. They're all ranks of angels. The Bible doesn't teach it. Religion doesn't teach the ranks of angels. And then when they teach it, oh, they look like men, but when they describe them, they look like animals and machines and all type of weird stuff. But we know an angel is just a dead man. For 200 years, he shall serve as marshal, and under as many as 40 lords and gods. So different angels serve different gods at different times for different reasons. That makes sense. And in as many as 20 heavenly kingdoms. This was the 42nd divine law. And watch this. And Div, the head of the divine council, Div, or true God, decreed, he shall now be promoted to Lord. Huh? And have dominion over a city of or nation of mortals, and over the spirits belonging to that city or nation. And this was the 43rd divine law. Y'all looking for a Lord. Praise the Lord, Cosmon. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, brother. Huh? You looking for somebody to hit your knees for. You looking to praise the Lord. Huh? We become the Lord over here. See the difference? Huh? Now, I'm going to go ahead and get ready for work. I'm going to break this down into a part 2. Right? Because I like cooking like this. You dig what I'm talking about? If y'all thought that spiritual cooking, you know what I mean, was tasting a little good today. You dig what I'm talking about? It was tasting a little tasty. You know what I mean? Was it prepared correctly for you? You dig what I'm talking about? If you thought that that you know it was something you ain't never tasted you had before, but if it set good in your stomach, you dig what I'm talking about? Hit your boy with that vortex. You dig what I'm saying? And we gonna get up out of here, man. This your big homie, huh? The cloud kicker, Anak Wakaiki, huh? Just stepping in real quick. We gonna make this a 2-part and gonna get up out of here, huh? Y'all want to praise the Lord? Y'all want to praise the God? Over here, we teach you how to become the God and the Lord. There's a difference, y'all. And with that being said, y'all know what I need you to do, huh? You know what I need you to do? First of all, eat one of these. You dig what I'm saying? Eat that knuckle sandwich. You dig what I'm talking about? Because there's some knowledge on the end of them knuckles. I'm sorry I got the punch on you. But this the only way you gonna get. If we was soft and, oh, brothers, please listen to the words of the light of Jehovah. Nigga, you'll be like, man, you don't get your soft. You did. You will cuss me out. Get up out of here, Cosmo. No, but now that, see, it's a difference when you know you're the smartest man in the room. I don't lord it over nobody, right? But I ain't gonna sit here and let you just keep lying either. And what the Bible don't got is more benefits in it than Oahspe for our people today. And that's simple as that, huh? Shout out to the 4 horsemen, man.
Create a gang is crazy. Boy, y'all better pay attention.
We fight as a single, impenetrable unit. That is the source of our strength.
And as always, y'all know what I need you to do. Need you to breathe in and let that light in, huh? Because I'm Cosmo the Cloud Kicker. And I'm out.
Jehovih, symmetry sung, heard his word, and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. The book of Jehovih, symmetry sung, heard his word, and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one.
Before the earth took shape, new sound of sight, the creator sliced the time in the day and night. He breathed through void till the ether stirred, then sent angels and prophets to teach his word. Motion,
notion, devotion aligned, encoded design in the spine of time. Wind wrote signs on the breath of the prime, S intertwined with the flesh of the line.
Quicken the killer, conceiver entwined, dual divine, the ether confined. Two entities birthed, corporate and S, life compressed in the vortex nest. Spirit in the mist, physics resist, matter persist in Jehovah's fist. Dust kiss flame, play became twist. Anatomy gift from the infinite list. Male and female named through air. EOE, that sacred blare, not beast, not star. Not anywhere but the whisper of wind as a builder's prayer. Vortex speak, the sequence hum, the life resume. From void to bloom, the ether groom, creation's womb. Every tune in the flames plume, a living room. If your soul need food, here's what you consume.
The book of Jehovah, symmetry sung, heard his word and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. The book of Jehovah, symmetry sung, heard his word and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one.
3 states of worlds I made, corporeal terrain, an atmosphere and chain to Etherian planes. Ether the pure, obscure domain, the ghost of light, free the soul from shame. Atmosphere, field and flow, AGA, nebula glow. Currents collide where the comets go. Gravity bend with the vortices, so sound became law. Law gave sight, and every soul aligned in Jehovah's light. His love gave reason and the heart retune. If your body need rest, here's the text to consume.
The book of Jehovah, symmetry sung, heard his word and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung, Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. The book of Jehovah, symmetry sung, heard his word and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung. Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. Before the clay inhaled the spark, the plan was grand. See moose spun pulse through the dust of man. Ether expand to where the blueprint ran. Spirit tied to flesh by Jehovah's hand. Angels descended, intelligent, warm. Walk with Azu where the light was born. Heaven breathed with immortal form. Lord met love and the veil was torn. The seed took root in the coil's perfume. Sense evolved under the sun and the moon. Time broke the sleep of a deep commune. And now man learns pattern from teeth to spoon. From breath to balance, the Most High dropped clues from speech and sequence. The spirit world moved from page to prophecy through mahogany hues. If your mind need peace, here's the key to consume. The book of Jehovah, symmetry sung. Heard his word and the world begun. Motion one, devotion sprung. Jehovah reigns for the chosen, the only one. The book of Jehovah.